Hey, 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 welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. I'm Charlie Perry, and today we are going to continue with Black history related to New Bedford, Massachusetts, whether it's a person, place, or thing. And, this being Black History Month, I thought the best thing for me was to bring out or highlight the city of New Bedford, where I live. And there's a lot of history. Definitely an area where the country, the early. So what I want to do is basically touch up on some history and talk about some people like Frederick Douglass and uh, goes Frederick Douglass. We got Nathan and Mary Polly Johnson, who I'm going to talk about today. We have Jabril Kazan, who was Ezel Blair Jr. from the sittings of the 1960s civil rights movement. And it just goes on and on. So, but I'm going to do this every day, every single day for the month of February. All right. I missed this weekend. Um, so that's why I'm going to give you a double feature where I'm going to talk about Nathan and Mary Johnson and their properties in the city of New Bedford. All right. Without further ado, we're going to continue. All right. By the way, I make the best coffee in the world. Ah, if you were here, I would share some with you, just perfectly. I make it perfect, at least for myself, right? All right. Nathan and Mary Polly Johnson. They call her Polly. The Nathan and Mary Johnson properties are located at 17 19 and 21 7th Street in New Bedford, Massachusetts. These facts are coming from Wikipedia. There's numerous sites out there. I chose this site today because I liked how much they had, how much information they had compared to the others. Normally, I jump on the New Bedford Historic Society, which is great. I go on there and gather some facts. But for these particular two people, I think that this was a little bit better to a better choice today. The Nathan and Mary Polly Johnson properties are a National Historic Landmark at 17 19 and 21 7th Street in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Originally, the building consisted of two structures, one dating to 1820s and an 1857 house joined with an older one shortly after construction. They have since been restored and now house the New Bedford Historic Society, which I just mentioned. The two properties are significant for their association with leading members of the abolitionist movement in Massachusetts. And as the only surviving residents in New Bedford, out of three that are known, of Frederick Douglass, Nathan and Polly Johnson were free African Americans who are known to have sheltered escaped slaves using the Underground Railroad from 1822 and on. Nice. Yeah, so there's only two. One is uh the Holmes is the home of Frederick Douglass, and the Nathan Polly Johnson houses. Let's see. We're gonna continue. They were known to shelter escaped slaves using the Underground Railroad from 1822 and on. Both were successful in local businesses. Nathan was as a caterer, and Polly as a confectioner. 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 I don't know what that is, but let's see what that is. It's making confections, which are food items that are rich in sugar and carbohydrates. All right. So more or less, she was a baker. The Johnson properties consist of two buildings, one built as a residence and the other as a Quaker meeting house. The meeting house at 17-19 7th Street is a 2.5-story wood frame structure, 6 bays wide with a gable roof, the rest on a brick foundation. Built in 1785, and it originally stood where the present brick meeting house stands, and was moved where the new one is built. Interesting. The building was purchased by Nathan Johnson in 1832 and converted to residential use. Its main entrance is via a part of doors inside an enclosed porch that protects on the east side, which is the front of the main block. A two story L extends to the west, which is the rear of the building. The building's interior was woodwork dating to the early 19th century, including a staircase with elaborate turned newel posts. One noteworthy feature of the interior is a trap door in the attic, which leads to a large space between the attic and the high ceilings of the first floor. This space has long been theorized to house fugitive slaves, but no evidence has been uncovered to support this. The Johnson House at 27th Street appears to be composed of two separate structures which have been joined. The front block is a 2.5 wood story structure, 3 bays wide. The entry of the 8 panel door, flanked by sidelight windows and topped with a transom by a transom. The basement entrance stands below the center bay of the house. All right, enough of that. The history of the house is Nathan Johnson was born a free person of color in Philadelphia and married Mary Polly Durfee of New Bedford in 1819. The couple were employed by Charles Wayne Morgan, a prominent whaling captain, as domestic servants in the 1820s, and were soon involved in abolitionist cause. By 1845, the Johnsons had enough success in business that they owned the lot, including these two buildings adjacent one, uh, then numbered 23 7th Street, but no longer standing, which they used as a shop. In 1850, the Johnsons was one of the wealthiest African Americans in the city. He was politically active in both organizations of African Americans and those involved in abolitionist cause. Since New Bedford was a busy port during the business with southern states, it was a regular target for fleeing slaves. And Johnson is documented to have sheltered fugitives in his properties. He mostly famously gave shelter to Frederick Douglass, the escaped slave who credits Johnson with giving him his last name, by which he now is widely known. Although Douglass lived only a short time at the Johnsons' home, it is only one of three residents in New Bedford to survive. The house at 27th Street is now the home of the New Bedford Historic Society and is open for tours by appointment. The two properties were designated a National Historic Landmark. It is a great house. Many tourists go there, flock there. It's one of the attractions of the city when you are walking down amongst the historic district of New Bedford, Massachusetts. Not too far from the waterfront, and very nice home. Nice to see, especially when you think about it, when the likes of Frederick Douglass and many um, Captain Morgan, Charles Morgan, which very very famous for a lot of the whaling ships in New Bedford, and definitely talked about when you come here and visit the Whaling Museum and see all the different things that was pretty much due to you know the things that Charles Morgan had kind of recovered, or but the history goes on and on. So this particular area is a um, very nice street. 7th Street is one of those streets you look at and you just kind of go back in time and think about how New Bedford, Massachusetts was, and it's pretty much you know well kept, and the New Bedford Historic Society does a great part of it. Gathering money and making sure it's maintained properly, and that history is just restored. It's two houses. It's the surviving houses. It's very historic. All right, everyone. Well, thank you. That's my Black History for today. Thank you for joining me. And tomorrow I'll be back on at 9 a.m. with another subject, and we will see you then. Thank you for supporting the Really Charlie podcast. If you have time, go to YouTube and like and subscribe to the Really Charlie YouTube channel. And for everyone that's listening to me on replay, please follow me. I'm always bringing up guests. You know, I have quite a few guests coming up, and I can't wait. I'm trying to bring on as much fireside creators that I can, and and also some authors, some people that are very artistic, and that's what I do. So if you want to come on the Really Charlie podcast, send me an email to reallycharliepodcast@gmail.com, and we can schedule a podcast for you and I. All right, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow.